What is up, friend and fellow anti-netter? Scott Shepard here. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and read a funny email exchange I had with my main man, fellow anti-netter and subscriber, Mr. Terry Greer. So, let me see. Where is it? He sent me a few emails. Okay. He goes, I was listening to a psychologist discuss with the lack of narrative in the U.S. or the lack of trust in institution, etc., that people are aspiring to be famous versus just being good fathers, mothers, and people. It made me wonder if I am chasing fame, but telling myself I am helping people, chasing money in the solo growth life. I'm just curious if you've ever struggled around this. Maybe talk about it on a podcast about this. And I'm glad he said maybe talk about it on a podcast about this. I missed that part, so so I'm glad I at least have his explicit permission to talk about this. Anyway, here's what I wrote yesterday. It was after I was finishing up with a day-long writing session, writing by hand. I'm working on issue number 6 of the Scott Shepard letter, writing by hand. And I checked my email later in the day after I got done with like my intensive mind energy investment part. And I replied to him. I said, you should stop listening at this part. Quote, I was listening to a psychologist discuss. So that was my response to him. No, but then I went on and I said, here's the real answer is I think being a good father, spouse, family person is a higher priority than the work and craft part. However, you can have both and you should have both. And by the way, this is me riffing right now, so I'm not going to just read you verbatim the email. That's kind of freaking boring. But really, I told him the solo growth life, the solopreneur life, or the life where you get to work on your own thing and impact a lot of people. It's all about impacting people and not chasing money. The paradox is the more people you impact, the more money that will be attracted to you, right? That's like you've heard that before. It's the whole trite principle, right? And it's true. However, you also have to not be a coward when it comes to asking for money and, attracting money because, you deserve it if you're giving people value. And, my point is, I think that there's really 3 priorities in life. There is a 4th one, but I think the 4th one kind of trickles into all of them. The 4th one is spiritual, right? But in life, priorities in order, I think, are heart, which is family and relationships, body, which is health, sleep, nutrition, fitness, and then mind, which is work, craft, and money. And a lot of people think that you should just, maybe I should just focus on the heart and being a family man and just, leave my ambitions for making an impact in the craft and the work, to some other, life or something like this. And no, it's all should be thriving. So if you're like a great, father, a spouse, but you are unfulfilled with your mind priority, you will become a shitty spouse and father. And so you kind of want all of them, the whole harmonic. You want them all to be in harmony. The whole work-life balance thing is kind of a false notion. Like, you'll never be able to like balance everything. But what you want them to be is you want work-life harmony. And so, yeah, I responded to Terry. He wrote back, you are a good man. And he also sent me a link to the podcast of Dr. Cam Sapa, I guess his name is. And, this guy looks like he is... this guy's podcast looks like he is legit. His podcast title was The Problem with Ice Baths, Morning Routines, and Health Podcasters, and all of that, which is kind of ironic. You'll find there's just paradoxes and ironies and everything. He's kind of saying like, here's the problem with health podcasts, and here he is hawking his own, mental health podcast, right? So, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, even the stuff I say with a grain of salt. Like my, I have episodes of my podcast where I'm like saying, stop consuming content and just produce, right? And the irony is you're listening to this podcast and you're listening to me tell you to stop consuming and produce, and you are consuming, right? So consuming content, consuming knowledge. So here's what I want to say on this is that, if you're listening to a psychologist, tell you and indicate that, hey, you shouldn't focus on developing your own solo intellectual life, your dream intellectual life, your dream writer's life, where you get to spend your days and your time on fulfilling activities and sharpening your mind and growing your mind. And if you shouldn't focus on that, and you should instead just focus on being a great husband, spouse, father, all of that. What I say to that is, that's just, if you're attracted to that, if your mind is attracted to that, you're kind of just subconsciously looking for an excuse not to push, not to work, not to produce. And I say that kindly and gently because I've been in that same boat. And the thing is that there's a very simple framework, okay, for creating a six-figure living by writing one thing a month and, living your own solo, independent, intellectual life, right? Your own independent creative life and all of that. And it's a really simple framework that I'm going to be talking about and that I'm in the middle of writing right now for issue number 6 of the Scott Shepherd letter. And my point is that, you already know what to do. You already know enough. Like my main man Terry and all of my other anti-netters. It's like it's all about just pushing forward, grinding, producing, and iterating. And like this Dr. Cam guy, I'm sure he means well, but fuck him. And don't let him hold you back from producing and from striving to make a massive impact. I'm seeing what Terry has been doing. Terry is a man of action. He has been executing. He is iterating. He is growing his own tribe, his own movement around becoming sober over the age of 50. And he's going to make a huge freaking impact. He already is, and I'm sure he's well on his way. And by the way, I'm driving, what is with people not staying in their lane on the on a stop sign crosswalk? Just because you're an old man walking across the street doesn't mean that I should have to stop 10 feet in front of the stop walk for you, okay? Anyway, that's what just happened right now. I think a lot of people, that's their subtle jab at me for pulling up in a lime green Tesla Plaid close to them in Suburbiaville. So anyway, hope this lesson helped. Hope you got something out of it. My main thing is that on balance and on priorities, yes, your family should come first, but that doesn't mean that you should just become a bum and, focus on being a full-time father, spouse, whatever, and neglect the other priorities of your life, okay? And I'm going to name that again. There's 3 priorities, okay? Number 1, heart. Number 2, body. Number 3, mind. You want them all to be in harmony. And really there's a 4th one, which is the spiritual one, which is spirit, right? Which is kind of circulates between all of them, right? And the 4th one is really above all of them, especially if you're a spiritual person, that permeates through all of them. It is a transcendent, recurring, perennial human desire, human part of you, okay? So there's really 3 parts of your life, okay? I'm going to list it again. Heart, body, and mind. You should make sure that they are all in harmonic balance, meaning don't try to balance it and go all freaking logical and crazy with it, right? Being I need to devote 2.3 hours to this need per day, and then this one to this one, 2.3 hours to my heart, 2.3 hours to my mind, 2.3 hours to my body. That way they're perfectly in balance. No. That is not what you... And what the hell is going on here? Junk 911 has literally... There's a junk hauling truck right now that I just passed, and I swear to God, Santa Claus was driving it. I swear to God. I don't think he was in the full Santa Claus outfit, but definitely, it's off season right now, but definitely in the on season, right in November, I guarantee you that man is dressing up like Santa Claus. So, yes, priorities. There's 3 of them. They should all be in harmonic balance. And screw the advice that says that you shouldn't pursue or develop the mind component of your life. And that's really it. Hope this gave you some insight. Hope this helped. And always remember to stay crispy, my friend. Peace and love.